Go.
Ready.
Yeah. We are all being recorded. Well, thank you all for coming. Calling the meeting to order. Let's start with a little roll call. Mike?
Here.
Amy Golden?
Here.
Alexa Wilson, also here. So we have the entire board in attendance on the lovely Monday afternoon. Adoption of the agenda. I'm assuming you've all seen it. Anybody feels like making a motion? I think it's Mike's turn. Amy did double duty last time.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
I second the motion.
Everybody in favor? Aye.
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 And unanimously accepted. So here we go. Oh, we're still doing procedures for handling electronic participation because of COVID-19 3 years ago. I guess that was a written determination on the agenda in my capacity as chair of the board. TUID board to convene electronically without a proper anchor location. Public comment. 15 minutes every time, 3 minutes for each person. Anybody there who wants to say anything?
Not at this stage.
Okay, so we'll move on to a board report. I feel we were just in a meeting a couple of days ago, so I do not have anything to report, except for maybe that I got a question about the telephone line. Does TUID have a telephone number now?
We do have a number. We're just waiting to get it physically hooked up.
Okay.
I can give you an update on that, John, just everybody. But yeah, so Ricky found the Cat 5 line, and he's running it now from the proper modem into the office. So it should have the Cat 5 by the afternoon, because he's down at the landfill right now. And then once John hooks that phone up, then our IT guy just programs it, and it should be ready to roll.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Can we stick messages in our next billing? That's here's a new phone number, or is that complicated?
No, we can do that. No, you can do up to like 5 lines to the RVS program and put messages in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once we get it going, I'll obviously do it on the website too, but also we can do it on the billing too.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Any of the other board members have anything to report since we last met?
I don't.
Okay. Let's move to the sale of TUID lots. John, you've been talking to the prospective buyer. You want to tell us where that ended?
Yeah, I'll read off the offer that Gene sent to you guys here. Get on it just a moment. Okay. So the offer from, of course, we reached out to the other person who bid as well to see if they wanted to counter offer. I've not heard back from them on the opportunity to counter, in the transparent process. So what we did hear back was from Gene Babelis. Mm-hmm. His proposal and offer is mobile home park lots 102, 103, and 104. Purchase price $75,000. Estate lots number 44, 45, and 46. Purchase price offer of $60,000. He understands the utility fee setup, where when they're continuous lots, up to 5, then you pay for one account, be it standby fees or in this case, if a purchase goes through, owner's going to make a decision that they want to continue power to the mobile home there. And then he did add that he's accepting of the title company and the closing terms for the TUID board that they had in the original offer.
Michael, Amy, any comments, suggestions?
Oh, I'm good.
I'm comfortable with the offer.
Yeah, so it sounds like I'm comfortable with the offer. I think it's reasonable. It's gives us a little wiggle room to use in the future to keep our operations going. So unless anybody has anything else to say, maybe we should go straight to a vote.
Yeah, I'd just
I
like to
would
say
need a motion.
it kind of goes along with, our project and getting a replacement generator for the MQ. It's going to help us rebuild our reserve funds and get them up where they need to be. So I think it's prudent to do this time.
And I think we got a good price. I'm comfortable with the price. I think we didn't undercut the market or left anything on the table, so I'm comfortable with that. Amy, you want to go on record?
I'm comfortable with the offer.
Okay.
I
Well,
think we should accept.
you want to give us a motion? Anyone?
A motion that we accept the offer from Mr. Bablis.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Maybe
Aye.
we should do this a little more serious. Michael, Amy,
Aye.
and
Aye.
Alexa Wilson. Aye. So that sounds like the motion is unanimously accepted. So we're gonna ask John to work with Gene Babelis to get us on the contract, and then we'll execute the contract. Okay, well, thank you all. Next one is our water right application. It might be good, unless anybody objects, to review how we got where we are. So until not too long ago, until December 2021, TUID had a water right for more than 700 acre-feet. In July 21, TUID received a notice that had been getting every 5 years to prove beneficial use or request an extension. That deadline passed without any action taken. TUID manager says he never received the notice and didn't think of it spontaneously. So on October 15, the Division of Water Rights sent another notice saying your right has lapsed, but you still have 60 days to reinstate with the current priority date, which would not have been good, but it would still have been better. TUID contacted an engineer to prepare a request to reinstate, and that somehow never made it to the Division of Water Rights until 7 days after the deadline, at which point the water right has lapsed. We've had contact and our attorney at Smith Harvickson had contact with Division of Water Right, which did result into them granting us a temporary right for 10 years for 100 feet. It's a temporary right. It has the order did state that there was unappropriated water in the drainage. Nobody protested that right. And currently we're using 40 acre-feet per year. So for now, that right is good. If all lots in Tickaboo were to have a home on it, it would not be enough because the county would require that we have 140 acre-feet, and that's not even talking any expansion. A lot of back and forth between attorneys and Division of Water Right, but on December 16th of last year, they denied the request to reinstate our old water right. So the temporary water right for now is all we have. April 2023, TUID applied through our attorney for 500 acre-feet, a new water right, and for a very brief moment, I thought, oh, they're just gonna approve it and all will be well. That is not what happened. June 7th, just a couple of days ago, the BLM filed a protest. They think the new right might impair 5 of their rights in the area for, I think, about 4,000. I think they call it ELU. Some measure of cows grazing, needing water to stay alive. And obviously, I have no idea if that would actually happen. So the question now becomes, what are we going to do? We got a note from our attorney, and I think he lays out several options. I think you all got a copy of that email. But he suggests, and I tend to agree, that the best strategy might be to engage BLM in a negotiation and see what we can do. Just not having water in Tickaboo is maybe a problem. It's going to be a problem for the currently approved lots, and it's definitely going to be a problem for expansion. And I might be doing a little head switching here, that it will reduce the value of the North Lake Powell lease, and it will reduce the value of the trust lands, and it will put TUID in a position where at some point we're just going to have to say, TUID, head back on. If you want to build on a lot, you'll have to bring your own water. Now, I don't know if does anybody have any experience with these kind of situations? We may be able to say something useful.
Well, Alexa, I'm wondering if this isn't kind of a knee-jerk reaction by the BLM just based on the application. And I'm wondering if they really have all of the details surrounding the lapse in our water right and what our old water right was.
Yeah.
And just wonder if it maybe enlightening and giving them all the details might come to a solution pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, they say in their response that they're gonna engage the USGS in doing some further research. And our attorney suggests that we wait until they have done that in engaging that, because right now we're just speculating. Who knows where the water is?
Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I agree with Mike that, there's going to be some legal issues involved, of course. But outside of that, to me, it looks, more political based on the way, BLM has been leaning recently. And a week from tomorrow, we'll have another North Lake Powell Accords meeting here in Tickaboo, in which myself and John and Bob Mitchell, who's online, is going to be making a presentation about, the growth and development of North Lake Powell region. And just to give you a couple ideas, we have some state representatives. Phil Lyman will be here, some of the county commissioners, and also Congressman John Curtis has already confirmed that his office will be here. This might be something to bring up to them. Obviously, like you said, the future development of Tickaboo and North Lake Powell without water is a pretty political aspect of everything going on here. I would think that we might be able to enlist their help in discussing with BLM the ramifications. Or maybe I'm way off. I don't know. I'm just offering that as a suggestion. We can incorporate that into our presentation next week. Don't you think, Bob?
Yeah, definitely, Alexa. I think in all things politics, I think it may be what Mike was saying. There may be a lack of communication or a lack of understanding. I think as a precursory to that meeting, it would be recommended that, any kind of a meeting we could have in advance of that would probably be beneficial. Otherwise, I'm totally in agreement with Ray. We can incorporate this within our presentation to all of those influential people in the state.
We can always just mention it as an issue. Is I think there's nothing to be gained by lawyering up and fighting it.
Yeah, that's so. What do you propose? Is that you, as chairman of the board, have a discussion with them, or what do you think the next best steps are? It's just to enhance understanding.
Yeah, I think it might be good if one person from the board and one of the managers, either Ray or John, would just reach out to the folks at BLM and just have a discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say do that before this NLP meeting next week. That would probably be advisable. And then depending on your fallout or your results from that meeting, we can adjust one way or another.
Yeah, and I think waiting for what the USGS finds is a good idea too. I mean, I think both the BLM and TUID were just speculating about what will happen if we pull water out of the ground, and an expert opinion may not be a bad thing.
Well, it definitely flies in the face of the initiative for the next week. I mean, if we were to say we're not going to have water, I'm sure that wouldn't resonate.
Yeah, that would sure put a damper on things.
Yeah.
Yes, John, please.
And Senator Mike Lee's office will be here as well. So I think we can, that's a pretty critical component of the whole purpose of the North Lake Powell Accords. We thought it was energy, but it's really water.
Yeah.
I think John had a comment. We
John,
can't
I
hear you,
can't hear
John.
you.
All right, sorry, I was on auto mute. My comment is, and I know little about it, obviously it's going to take more research, but they mentioned the cows. The paradox is they're part of the water TUID supplies now is for cows. I don't know how that's going to factor in, but obviously if there's no movement, that's the domino effect is the cow herd that's predominant herd from what I've seen around here now, they get no water from TUID. Those would be moves that would have to be made. So there is a supply factor now for water, for the cattle. I don't know how big of a factor that plays, or if they're kind of like what Mike alluded to, giving them some of the finer details, if they're aware of that, that we supply a good bit to a cattle operation here now. So that's something.
Yeah, they mentioned that in the protest that some of the grazing rights are served with water from TUID, but they're the ones a little further out.
Yeah.
I know the Rocky something allotment.
Yeah.
That need their own water.
A lot of the springs that they mentioned are not, unless they're considering that those flow in this direction, which it sounded like they thought that, but a lot of those springs and areas are further north of the cattle, right there at the north end of the property.
Yeah, and I just don't know enough to have an intelligent discussion on it, but maybe if we can just go visit with them, then they can tell us what they know and we tell them what we know, and at least we got that part out of the way.
Yeah, just let me know in advance, Alexa, and I can adjust my presentation accordingly if needed.
Yeah, and I think it's a good idea to see if we can meet with them before that.
Yeah.
Before the meeting, before the 20th. That way, if we're all on the same page by that time.
Yeah.
So, John or Ray, I guess first the question is, I'm prepared to work on that. I don't know if Amy or Mike, I don't want to elbow anybody out of the way.
No, I think you're the perfect one for that one.
Great.
Because my extensive knowledge on water rights, I know just enough to be dangerous.
It would be good if Dave involved in the conversation. He's very knowledgeable about it.
Dave Curtis?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be good.
Yeah, I'll let him know. I sent him a text. You're right, Ray. He's detached, but I'll let him know if you want to pull him in, and either Ray or John, just let me know and we'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, and I know that is this the kind of thing that we want to see if we can organize an in-person meeting for?
It's always better if we can.
Yeah. Who's going to be in person for the June 20th meeting? And I'm just wondering if we.
BLM has actually been at these meetings before. I wonder if we could, I could make sure that invite list, which currently has like 48, I can make sure that list has that person on it or whoever the BLM person might be, and we can just incorporate it into that meeting if you think that might be the best thing. And you're going to be sitting down with other people.
Yeah. It might also not be the same person. They enter a letter saying contact our attorney, and I think they're in Denver or someplace. So maybe the whole idea of trying to do that in person is crazy.
They can say,
Yeah.
Really just, I think the key here is we're not trying to get a new water right, just replace the one that lapsed.
Yeah.
I would think that precedent would rule. I mean, I'm obviously an attorney, but it seems like under the circumstances, I don't see how I mean, usually the courts go off of precedents, right? So how could that not
Yeah.
be situated?
Well, although it wouldn't be the first time that people have water rights without there actually being water available. That's not an unheard of situation. We should probably try to set up a quick call with the attorneys as well. So just so we have a little idea about. Just the letter they sent it was more brought up a lot of questions, like stuff that I just don't know about. So if everybody is okay with it, maybe we can set up a call with maybe John and the attorney and me, and see if we can get some clarification on some of the things they said in the letter, just so we can be a little bit more prepared. And there apparently is a 20-day deadline, and we absolutely, if there is another deadline anywhere, I just want to make sure that we don't miss it just because we're not paying attention. We've done enough of that. So, John, do you want to do that, or Ray, or?
And what's that? Talk to the attorneys?
Yeah. Like, and then with the BLM.
Yeah, I mean, I would welcome Ray. I think a second set of ears and eyes and knowledge for something like this, because I'm like you, Alex. I know a little bit about it, but it's limited in the history as well too. So maybe approaching it with two people to review with them to see where we stand.
Okay.
I
Would be a
can
good
like
idea.
that too, if that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more the merrier on something like that to put our heads together, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a lot of relationship with BLM, obviously, because of our
Yeah.
permitting and stuff like that. I would probably let John handle talking to the people who I would probably ask how you let this slip. That's probably not a good idea.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm probably a little slow on the Monday. So John and Ray, both of you want to do that, or?
With our attorneys, right? TUID attorneys.
Yeah. Just to get some clarification on their letter.
Yeah, no, I'd be glad to reach out with them, and if anybody wants to join in, like I said, I think it's a good thing for multiple people to see what direction we go in.
Okay. And then do that.
Yeah, I can contact those guys today and see what we can set up. And of
Yeah.
course, CC them, guys.
Yeah. It's just they mentioned a couple of things about what our arguments are for approval and possible mitigation measures. And when I read that, nothing springs to mind. Those are the two questions that I would have for them. And what exactly are our argument for approval, other than that we really, really need it?
I think that, I mean, that was a while back when the attorneys wrote that, but I think it had to do with the way it happened, more like procedural.
Yeah.
I think those were the arguments, but
Yeah.
I can reread it to find out.
Yeah. And I'm not convinced that the Division of Water Right had an obligation to be as hard-nosed as they were, that they just shut it down for being 7 days late on a 60-day period. Well,
Yeah.
I know nothing about these things, so maybe they do. Do we need like a formal motion on this plan, or this is not really a decision on anything? This is just, Mike, what do you think?
No, I think we're okay.
Yeah, okay,
Just need to, yeah, we just needed to really strategize a plan
yeah.
for what we're gonna do. There's have to be a
Yeah.
motion.
So I think the decision that we're taking now is that we're just gonna investigate and reach out to all parties involved, and if we come up with a plan, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion and possible approval.
Yeah, it's just a fact-finding mission.
Okay, I lost my script. Let me see. Do we need to talk about anything else? And about the water right? Do we have a plan?
Yeah, let's just hope that it's a misunderstanding and we can move forward with replacing our old ride.
Okay. Well, thank you all. Let's close this meeting. So, if anybody wants to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Well, thank you all. It's a pleasure. One
Thanks,
good thing, one not so good thing. Guess that's a good balance for our meeting. We'll be in touch.
Take care.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys. All right, bye.
I'm not gonna say anything. But if that meets bread.